Alright, so the plan for this winter is to put in a bridge across this gully. And the first thing I did was put out some twine to kind of sketch in the alignment. So we ran the twine across some stake pegs, and the main span there is currently 14 feet, which is the length of the maple stringers that I have. So that's one of the stringers right there. There'll be two upper ladders, one there, to kind of allow for the climb in and out of the gully. It's still pretty steep up there, dropping in. And also on this side here, so these two supplementary ladders on either side of the main span will help accommodate the entry and exit from the gully. So with the main span established, 14 feet from side to side, the next step is starting the post holes. I got the first one started here, so it's right beside this one stake. Hit a bit of a stump down there. I'm gonna have to come back with the saw, and then right here is the other post hole underway. So it's the end of December, 10 or 12 degrees out today. The mud is just totally soft. I can't even walk on this bank side here without slipping and totally sliding to destruction. So I had to throw down a whole bunch of trash on the ground to make a bit of a corduroy that I could walk on while I'm working, because the mud is just way too soft. You can see that's what we're talking about here. Just makes it a lot slower moving around on this site, trying to maneuver and measure and put things together. Okay, so I took this post hole down to about 2 feet deep and hit water, so can't really go any deeper there. Cut a 3-foot length here for a post, and just going to drop it in there and see how it fits. So there's another post dry fit, and now I'm gonna also dry fit this larger one. Okay, so that's the dry fit. I've got a slight bias on the camber. Don't have my level with me, just eyeballing it, but that should be very close to what I need. And those two are done. Okay, so there's the first two posts that I dry fit. And now we got the other two right there, also on an eyeball level. But this is very close to being finalized. I can fine tune the heights a little bit and then pack them in.
See my jump along, hanging out on the line. See my jump along, hanging out on the line. Know about that, something on my mind.
Okay, so I've roughed in the rabbets for this sill piece. Right there. Using the hatchet is good, and also the chainsaw is good for just smoothing off the rough edges. And then I can drop this piece in here for a dry fit. It's good and solid there. That's also good and solid there. And for level, less than 1 centimeter and 2 feet. That's a good start. All I have to do is bring the mallet next time and just tap that side down by 1 centimeter, and I'll be right on level.
Just like lightning, I'm going to my head. Just keep it on.
So, got this one roughed in. There's a rabbit there. Pretty square. Over here, have a good fit. So that level is, again, about 1 centimeter or less off 2 feet. So, that completes the rough in. And this is what it looks like.
Attention to this song when I wrote it like 15 or 16 years ago. My name's John Lee Pemmore. See my daddy and daddy before. Hardly ever saw granddad out here. Only come to town about twice a year. 500 pound east since the copper line. Everybody knew to make moonshine. Now the revenue man wanted granddaddy bad. Headed up a holler and everything I had. All my time that I've been told, never come back from Copperhead Road. Whiskey and the baby block dots, calling that an auction at the Macy's lot. Johnson and a sheriff painted on the side. Shot a cool primer and it looked inside. Maybe my uncle tore that engine down. Remember that rumbling sound. And then a chair come around the middle of the night. Heard mama crying, something wasn't right. Standing out a nozzle with a weekly load. Smell of whiskey burning down Copperhead Road. White trash first round here in the way. Got me true to the duty in Vietnam. I come home with a brand new plan. I take the seed from Colombia to Mexico. I plant her up a holler down Copperhead Road. Got a chopper in her hair, wake up screaming like I'm back over there. Heard a thing of tea, but I know you know. Better stay away from Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road.
So today's exercise is going to be to split a few rungs off these pieces of cedar that I've got and start to lay out the ladder for the main span of that bridge. 42-inch rubber. That's how it's supposed to go. probably 6 or 7 inches. So that's what I have to start working with. Probably 8 or 10 rungs. It's going to take a lot more, of course, to complete that span, but all in good time. So what I've tried to do here is lay out the 3 stringers in such a way as to best match the natural bends, so that a rung will lie almost touching all 3 from side to side. So like that piece I've got in the middle there shows that the alignment's pretty good in the middle. It's not as good elsewhere, but on average that's pretty much the best match or fit for the 3 stringers in terms of their 1, 2, 3 positions. So building with maple can be tricky at times because it can go punky pretty quickly, and you've got to pick the wood pretty carefully. That one there is a good piece. Nice and solid. Over here you can see there's a bit of punk coming into it here. So that's not great, but most of the piece is still solid, and throughout most of its length I think it's pretty good. And then over here, again, that's just beautiful. That is just totally solid. That's the best maple you're gonna find. So that's the first 10 rungs. They went down pretty well. Pretty good solid ladder, there's a bit of a bounce to it. But I mean, it's totally bomb-proof. I'll look from this angle. So it's about 1/3 done. I'm gonna have to scare up some more cedar. There's not a lot of it in this part of the valley, so I may have to hike it in from a bit of a distance away. So I just stopped here, convenient spot to bust up those 4 pieces I had. I got about 12 or 15 rungs out of it, I guess. So just tied them up into a little bundle for easier carrying the rest of the way. Alright, got another 10 rungs done, and one more session will do it. So, thinking of starting the ladder on this side of the bridge, and the existing slope here is pretty off camber and is kind of not a great alignment to get onto the bridge. So I'm thinking I'm gonna haul up this long piece of wood I have here and kind of use it to shore up the downslope side of the bank here, so I can realign the tread a bit and make the alignment of the ladder onto the bridge slightly straighter.
Far and wide. mercy for people far and wide. Horsemen ride with a pistol on each side, with heads like thunder, the rock of your pride. We'll have no mercy for people far and wide. We horsemen ride with a pistol on each side, with heads like thunder, we'll rock you of your pride. We'll have no mercy for people far and wide.
All right, I got that roughed in. Need to do a little bit more on the next session, but you can see the realignment there. Just trying to move it ever so gently from this side to this side, so the transition onto the bridge is a little bit straighter. Okay, I've roughed in a sill piece there and a couple of stringers for the ladder that will transition onto the bridge. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape there. From the top, the alignment looks kind of like this. So there's just a bit of a left-hand swerve in there. So these pieces of maple I have for the ramp, the ladder onto the bridge that is, are bigger diameter, and that'll be a long way to drive a spike through to get it into the 4x4. So same thing is kind of true on this side. So the thing to do is to notch the underside of these things or somehow thin them out a little bit. And I'm going to give that a shot right now.
But I missed you every day. Well, you never said you're sorry. I forgive you even then. But I feel inconsequential in the current state I'm in. But I'll try to keep on living through the nauseating gloom, and I'll try to keep on digging wretched past I will into. Oh, you never said you're sorry. I I forgive you even then, but I feel inconsequential in the current state I'm in.
Okay, so there's a pretty good notch there. So the weight is going to be bearing, you know, on most of the sill instead of just one edge of it. And likewise, that one's a bit hackier, but it'll do. Up here, there's the notch there. It sits down pretty good on the square lip. And here I just reamed out a bit of a groove with the saw. This one is thin enough, you didn't really want to notch it any further. So it's easier just to notch the sill piece. It's big enough, it's not going to be a problem. Okay, so that notching completes the sort of the rough-in process for this ladder. I might fine-tune those a bit on my next session, but otherwise I'm just going to spike it out, secure it, and start getting some rungs for it. Okay, so for driving a spike through a piece of maple, very difficult without a pilot hole. Got a 1/4-inch bit here, which will be a good match to this 8-inch spike. Once it's through the maple, it'll go into the softwood, this sill piece here quite easily. It's just the maple got to get through.
was hauling me. Death in the air, trapped in the electric chair. This can't be happening to me. Who made you God to say, I take your life from you? Flash before my eyes, now it's time to die. Burning in my brain, I can feel the flame. Wait for the sign to flick the switch of death. It's the beginning of the end. Sweat chilling cold as I watch death unfold. Consciousness my only friend. My fingers grip with fear. What am I doing here? Flash before my eyes. Now it's time to die.
Okay, here we go. They're all secure. All four of them went in pretty well. So I think this ladder is now, this sort of approach ladder that is now ready to put on the rungs. Don't have any rungs prepared yet. It's going to have to be the next session. Okay, so I've got the two stringers for the other ladder set into place now. This embankment, the slope here, was steeper and less supported, more susceptible to erosion, so I had to set in place a little kind of buttressing or reinforcement so that the whole bank could be supported a bit and wouldn't just disintegrate over time. So up here I had the opposite situation as on the other ladder. The sill piece that's sitting on the ground is a piece of maple and the stringers are cedar. So for this one I had to drill pilot holes not just through the stringers but right into the maple as well. So I've got like a 3/16 inch bit here, which I just used to take the pilot hole down 6 inches, pretty much the full length of the spike, a 6-inch spike, and was able to drive them with this hammer. But without the pilot hole, it would be almost impossible to drive a 6-inch spike into that piece of maple. It would be bouncing around on that earth, and then the spike would eventually just bungle. Just did a quick round of splits for the next session when I can start putting the rungs on those two ladders. Got about 8 or 9 splits here off this one piece of wood I had. But check this out. An 8-inch plank split. Perfect split. That's a beauty. We obviously live in awe and envy of the western red cedar that people get to build with in the west. But for eastern white cedar, heck, this isn't too bad. Okay, so I got 10 rungs down there to start this ladder. That's all I had split for today. So the other thing I can do though today is put a little bracing onto the main structure, cross bracing, to stiffen it up a little bit. So I got that bracing on. Let's just see if it made any difference here. Yeah, that side is good. Just got to do another round of splits and I can finish up runging in the ladders. Okay, I've got another pile of rungs here, 26-inch rungs for the 2 approach ladders, and today's plan will be to hopefully finish them up. We'll see how far these go. Alright, so I got both the approach ladders finished up with the rungs today. So all that's left is just the transition now. I need a few more longer splits and that will pretty much finish off the structure. Okay, it is now, in the lingo, substantially complete. The rungs are all nailed down. All that's left is a bit of mopping up, fine-tuning and finishing up a few loose ends. But yeah, the two transitions from the ladder onto the main structure took a bit of extra time. I tried to kind of smooth out the transition so there isn't a hard bump. So right there you can see that piece there has got a big shim to facilitate smooth out that transition ever so slightly. And the same is true on the other side. Right there, I shimmed up that side to put a bit of curvature into the transition and smooth it out. The first ride will be the proof, but that's the theory. Alright, so that was just a bit of finishing up. Cut off a few rungs to match the length and lopped off all the bungle nails. But the bungle nails, of course, is just for the professional fit and finish. Don't want this thing to look like it was built by a amateur or anything like that. It's got to inspire a bit of confidence in the people that use it. So the last thing to do is just to fill in the earth right in front of the ladders, that gap there, and a similar one on the other side. And at that point, I believe this thing will be rideable.
Light up.
that's it. This thing is done. It's the on-ramp here. And the other on-ramp right here. Up and over this little bump. And the rest of the trail continues on in that direction. So from this side, and the trail goes up the slope there.